So, what can we learn about Job's wife? We've heard everything about Job, but what can we learn about his wife? Okay. So, I'm going to read you this article. Why did Job's wife tell him to curse God and die? All right. Job faced many forms of suffering. He lost his children and wealth in a single day. He was then struck with painful sores over his entire body. And after this time, his wife added to the pain by saying, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." Job chapter 2, verse 9. In short, Job's wife was saying, "Give up." Job's life had completely fallen apart. Instead of encouraging Job to faithfully endure, his wife said he should just lay down and die. Even worse, she told him to curse God before he died. She saw God as the problem, one who had abandoned Job in his time of trouble. To see Job's wife as doing wrong in this scene, yet her response was natural from a purely human standpoint. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you got to see that because a lot of people, especially in foreign countries where Christianity is outlawed, imagine how their lives are, or people who, they in a Muslim country and they become Christian. Guess what? Their life is not going to be easy. It's going to be very hard. All right. You lose a lot of things. Some people they lose their life automatically for sharing the gospel. And a lot of people are not willing to do that. Okay. She had lost her children too, along with her home and wealth, and now she watched her husband suffer in excruciating pain. If living faithfully before the Lord means to be treated like this, she reasoned it was better to die. Also, her comments merely matched what Job's three friends later reflect in their speeches to Job. It is Job's hope-filled response to his wife that is the key to understanding his faith. In his response to his wife's bitter outlook, he first rebukes her. "You are talking like a foolish woman." Job chapter 2, verse 10. He then asks, "Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" Job chapter 2, verse 10. His words are commended by God. In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. Job chapter 2, verse 10. Job's response was a godly answer to the pain he was facing. Okay? And that's basically it. I mean, when you become a Christian, your life is not just going to be filled with joy. It's going to be filled with pain. Okay? And a lot of people don't see that or don't want to see that. And then when hard times come, they fall away. Okay? There's a reason why there's so many false teachers and so many false gospels, because people really don't want to face the truth of Christ, that you must accept not only his joy, but his suffering in that cross. And a lot of people will fall away, especially in these hard times. Okay. Just look what happened when it came to this medical solution that we were all had to take. Okay. We were all told we had to take, and people buckled under the pressure. Okay. And they fell under the pressure. They took it. Their businesses went down the tubes. Their jobs were taken from them. And people had to make a choice. And some people would say, you know what? Just go and just submit. Just give up. And unfortunately, people followed suit and gave up. All right. More people gave up than those who stood by the truth. Okay. That's just an example. And people who are Christians who stood up and said, you know what? I don't need that. I don't need that medical potion. All right. They decided to stand firm, and they don't have any regrets. All right. Compared to those who do. All right. But that's basically it. You have to take the bitter and the sweet with God. All right. While this may sometimes be the case, it is clear that God allows suffering for other reasons. In Job's case, the suffering was not the result of God's judgment at all, and Job was later blessed with twice as much as before his time of trouble. In the New Testament, Jesus came as God's suffering Messiah, Isaiah chapter 53. Isaiah chapter 53, on our behalf, so that we may have eternal life. Jesus was without sin, yet he endured great suffering. He set an example for his followers in this regard. There are times when believers will endure various types of suffering and pain, even though they've done nothing wrong. Job's wife suggested he curse God and die. Job wisely refused to take that route. Instead, he taught us that we are to accept both good and bad from the Lord, trusting that his plan is best. James chapter 5, verses 10 to 11 says we should, as an example of patience in the face of suffering, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord, as you know, who counted as blessed those who have persevered. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord has finally brought. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Okay? And that's what we have to think about, right? We have to have that mindset. Otherwise, we're going to fall apart when hard times come. And more hard times are coming, all right? We're in times of wars and rumors of wars, all right? And once again, we're going to be pushed into a situation where we're going to have to make a decision. Are we going to stand firm for God in times of trouble, not just in times of good times? Or are we going to fall when those hard times come? Many, like I said, many took that magical solution, all right, and they're regretting it because it didn't stand firm in the Lord like Job did. All right. Peace and blessings. Feel free to subscribe if you like what you've heard. Have a blessed day.